All right, so I'm out here today and I am working on intercooler and oil cooler placement. So right now I have the car level. I know the intercooler is not level, but basically what I'm thinking about doing right now is I have these two bolt holes right here if the camera will focus, and then the mount for the intercooler is right there. Probably gonna mill these down, not mill, but grind them down flush so I can get a plate in there, and then just make some washers or something and extend that out to get to that part. So it'll be a flat plate with some washers to extrude out to mount the intercooler to. I'm gonna get that centered up, leveled up, and then what I think I'm gonna do also is I'm gonna cut these flush. I'm gonna cut those tabs flush with the radiator right here, maybe a little bit further back. That way I can get the intercooler recessed back in there, so there's a much smaller gap. You know, I'd like to have maybe a 1/4 inch, half an inch gap in between the radiator and the intercooler. I don't want them touching, but I don't want a lot of, I don't want a big air pocket in between there. And then this oil cooler I have, thinking of probably, there's these little tabs under here, cutting those out so I have some room. And then when, I might not even need to whenever the radiator's, or whenever the intercooler is further back. But then sucking it up in there like that, and then putting it off to one side. I thought about putting it in between the intercooler and radiator, and I really just don't like that setup. There's a huge air pocket in between there, and without proper ducting, it wouldn't flow. The air would tend to split in between there and not go all the way through the radiator. So I'm gonna keep it the way it is right now. As you can see, a little bit higher on the right side, and it'll be level and it'll look pretty good. So I'm gonna start getting to cutting and making these brackets and leveling it up. So let's see where it goes. All right, so this is what I did first round. I flattened that out. So basically I took a cut here and then up here, and then I just sanded all that, or I flap disked everything down to where it's flat. So I'll go ahead and set up the camera and do this other side real quick. Do a test fit of the radiator, do a test fit of the intercooler, and we'll start making the mounts. As I was telling you before, basically I'm gonna have a bolt hole here, a bolt hole down here. That'll be a flat plate, or basically be in this L shape. And then I'll probably, on that plate, weld on 2 nuts that are probably drilled through, but just use them as spacers, and then put a plate on the other side of those 2 nuts. That way it has a good mounting surface here. You just run through bolts on that, and then the 2 factory bolts into there. So that should be nice and solid, and should be really easy to work on. So, all right. So I got it in there the way I want it, I feel like. Fits in there pretty tight. I am gonna probably space it out. I need to get some 1/4 inch spacers, and then I'll mill it, or I'll get those spaced out like that. But should be pretty easy. The outlets of this, so basically the charge pipe's gonna come down right here. It has to come down 90 degrees and another 90 right in. So that'll be nice and simple. And then I have the bottoms of, I'll have the intercooler level with that, and then I'll probably do a plate from the back of that to the ducting of the bumper. But so far so good. Like I said, just need to space this out the way I want it, and then we'll go from there. All right, so this is the end template I figured out. Basically it's mirrored on both sides, which is nice and easy, but it sits up in there like that. Just attaches right like that onto the intercooler, and simple as that. So right now I'm gonna get some of my sheet steel out, just right here, draw it out, cut them out with the grinder, and then start shaping up and drilling holes. So should be good coming along. After that, I'll make some oil cooler mounts, and then I'll be done for the day. So, yep, pretty exciting stuff. All right, so I just finished up these mounts, got everything good. Got a nice little gap in between there. It's pretty level all the way across. There is a little bit of slack in these bolts, so I need to do some adjusting for fine tuning, but overall I'm very happy with it. Basically what I'm going to do is, you can see in there I have just some oversized nuts for the bolts. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tack weld those, or weld them to that plate, that way I don't have to worry about them. But overall it's a really easy install. It's just here and here, and it drops right out the bottom, and super straightforward. So let's do a little mock-up of the oil cooler now. Not really sure if I want to have it off to one side or whatnot, but if I have it right here in the middle, it looks like it'd be easy routing for the AN lines there. And what I could do is, there's some holes right there. I could have a little 90-degree bracket come down, and there's matching holes over here. I think that's probably what we'll end up doing. That'd be nice and easy. Basically, intercooler's done. I'm gonna probably just go ahead, take these mounts out, tack weld those bolts or those nuts onto the plates, paint them real quick, and then the intercooler mounts will be all said and done. So that's pretty much all for this video. I know I said I was gonna do some work on the oil cooler mount, just not enough time today, so I'll carry up with that tomorrow. I want to finish up these intercooler plates and go from there. All right, so got the intercooler mounts all painted up, intercooler mounted. You can see the mounts in there. Fits great, nice and level still. Man, I love the way that it's tucked up in there. It doesn't even, it's perfect. It's literally perfect, at least for me. Ugh. But yeah, man, it's in there solid too. Like, you can't budge at all. Now this, on the other hand, it'll probably stick out just a little bit further whenever I get these lower mounts in. But right now, I think it's set. This is gonna be where it stays. But yeah, I just wanted to throw the bumper on here to finish off the day. We'll get a good view. There we go, Treadstone intercooler installed.